You ever wake up thinking you're about to have a peaceful Saturday, maybe walk out with a cup of coffee, breathe in the morning air, listen to your chickens raising hell in the yard. Then you hear that sound, and every nerve in your body just tightens up? Yeah, that was me, standing there in my boots, mug in hand, when I heard Patty's white Escalade chewing up my gravel like it was auditioning for NASCAR. No warning, no wave, not even a hint of respect. Just 4 tons of leased entitlement barreling right across my property for the 4th damn time that week. At first, I told myself she must be lost. Nobody could be that bold, right? But after a while, you stop giving folks the benefit of the doubt, especially when they're wearing designer sunglasses at 7:30 in the morning and treating your front gate like a minor inconvenience on their daily commute. I used to wonder if she was testing me, just seeing how far she could push before I'd bite back. But you want the truth? Patty Drummond wasn't testing. She was challenging. She wanted a reaction. So I decided to give her one, just not the kind she expected. Out here, a boundary means something. I bought this patch of dirt in Pinewood Creek for a reason. It's not much, a 5-acre plot with a beat-up farmhouse and a gate that creaks when you even look at it too hard, but it's mine. After 15 years designing buildings for corporations who didn't care if the roof leaked, all I wanted was a place where I called the shots, where the only drama came from chicken fights and maybe the odd coyote lurking at dusk. That gate, even with its splintered post and rusty hinges, was my line. But Patty? She didn't see it that way. I was standing there, just minding my own, when her Escalade clipped my gate again, snapped a crossbeam clean off. She didn't even look my way. Just kept talking into her phone, laughing like she was at a spa day. Dust everywhere, coffee gone cold in my hand, and suddenly I realized it wasn't about a piece of wood. It was about being told, without words, that I didn't matter on my own land. I picked up that busted crossbeam, felt the weight of it, and promised myself she'd learn this line wasn't just for decoration. I pulled out my phone, checked Google Maps, traced my driveway on the screen. My land. No public road, no secret easement. Just Patty's assumption. I tried to call her, voicemail, course all. Hi, this is Patty from Pinewood Realty. I'll get back to you. She didn't. So I drove into town, straight to the HOA office. There she was, sitting behind her desk in a white blazer, laptop open like she was running for Congress. All teeth, zero warmth. Oh, Marcus, honey, I'm so sorry. Honestly, you should be grateful we maintain that path. It's for everyone's property value, you know? That's when it clicked for me. She really believed it. She patted my shoulder, like I was a confused child, not a grown man with a deed in my glove box. Technically, sweetheart, it's community interest, she said. I'll send you the documentation. I just nodded, left, and drove home thinking about the crack of that gate. Not the damage, but the promise that this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. So, I did what any engineer with a stubborn streak would do. I stayed up late, reading Georgia property law until my eyes burned. I learned a few things. Easements don't just fall out of the sky because someone wants a shortcut. They have to be on record, agreed to, or earned through decades of use. I'd only owned this place 8 months. There was no easement, no deal, just Patty and her big ideas. Monday morning, I found a letter from the HOA, embossed logo and all, telling me to remove my gate in 14 days or pay $150 a day in fines. Signed, of course, by Patricia Drummond, president. I didn't even get angry. I got methodical. I called Diane Keller, a real estate attorney with a voice like a drill sergeant and a nose for trouble. She flipped through my deed, the county survey, and the letter, then looked me dead in the eye and said, "No easement here, Marcus. Don't move a damn thing. Document everything." So I did. I started an incident log, dates, times, video clips. Every time Patty crossed my line, I recorded it. October 2nd, 9:15 a.m., gate damaged. October 5th, 10:03 a.m., honking, waving, trespassing again. And the neighborhood started to notice. Greg, the IT guy down the road, texted out of nowhere. "If you need a witness, let me know." Patty's way out of line. The story was spreading, and not in a way she'd like. The next time she came through, she actually slowed down, rolled down her window, and yelled, "Marcus, you really should move that gate. It's a safety hazard." Right. I just recorded it, added the footage to the log. This was turning into a pattern, not just a one-off. And the more she pushed, the more precise I got. By week's end, I had 8 incidents documented, for videos, a letter from the HOA, and one very stubborn engineer determined not to let go. Then Friday came. I stepped outside expecting to see my battered old gate still leaning, but instead, I saw it flattened. Not missing, destroyed. Both posts ripped out of the ground. Crossbeams splintered to pieces. Tire tracks burned into the earth. I checked the camera footage. Sure enough, 11:45 p.m., a Ford F-250 with Drummond Properties plates just plowed right through like it was demolition derby night. Didn't even hesitate. This was planned, and Patty had escalated from entitled to lawless. I called the sheriff. The young deputy took notes, watched the footage, shrugged, and said, "Civil matter, sir. You'll have to file for property damage." I didn't rage or panic. I took measurements, photographed every inch of wreckage, called Diane, and sent her everything. She just asked, "Do you want to rebuild?" I said, "Not the same gate. Steel this time." I designed a new one, 6-inch steel posts, 4 feet deep in concrete, crossbar welded tight. A drainage trench right in front, covered in plywood and straw, just enough to stop a charging SUV in its tracks. All legal, all above board, signs posted, cameras upgraded. I went to Home Depot, dropped nearly $2,000 on materials, built the new structure myself, checking every measurement 3 times. I marked the boundary on the county survey with a red pen, no ambiguity. When it was finished, man, you should have seen it. 7 feet tall, matte gray, locked tight, 3 giant signs, private property. No trespassing. Violators prosecuted. The trench in front, sloped for drainage, but a hidden lesson for anyone not paying attention. I didn't build it for revenge. I built it because lines matter, and some folks only learn when the world stops accommodating their fantasy. A few days later, my camera buzzed, motion detected. I watched live as Patty drove up in her Escalade, didn't even slow down. Front tires hit the plywood, which snapped. The nose dropped hard, axle buried in the trench, rear wheels spinning like a cartoon. Patty jumped out, furious, mascara smudged, yelling that I'd set a trap. But by then, half the neighborhood had shown up. Greg, Linda the retired teacher, Tom the mailman. Real folks, not just background noise. Tom read the sign out loud. "Did you have permission to be here?" Patty blustered about HOA bylaws. Tom cut her off. "No easement, county records checked." Patty called the cops, who arrived and watched my footage, saw the warnings, read the signs. "This is a civil land use issue," he told her. "You'll need a tow truck. Don't come back without written permission. No arrests, no yelling, just consequence." The tow operator whistled. "That's going to be expensive." Patty left in silence, her Escalade chained to a flatbed. For the first time, the path was quiet. But Patty wasn't done. A few days later, I got served civil court papers, HOA suing me for $12,000 in damages, emotional distress, demanding I remove the gate and pay fines. I just laughed, walked into Diane's office, handed over my folders, incident log, video files, photos, repair invoices, notarized witness statements, county records. Diane looked through it and said, "You've already built my case. They tried to settle $3,000 if I just take the gate down." I said no. We went to court. Patty and her lawyer tried to paint me as the villain, reckless, dangerous, out to trap poor community members. Diane rolled out the videos, the signs, the logs, the county survey, the invoices. Every claim they made, we had an answer. Every accusation met with evidence. The judge watched the video, 3 signs visible, Patty on her phone, driving straight into the trench. "Did you see the warnings?" "I didn't notice." "You didn't notice a 4-foot sign?" "I was on the phone." "Did you have written permission to cross this property?" "No, but the bylaws don't override property law." "You were trespassing." Diane handed over every piece of documentation, every timestamp, every statement. The judge just sat there, reading in silence, then said, "Plaintiff's claim is dismissed." Miss Drummond will pay Mr. Webb $18,000 in damages and court costs. The HOA is ordered to issue a public apology and stop all claims to the property. Gavel down. Done. I walked out into the fresh air, not celebrating, just steady, feeling the weight lift. Patty passed by. No apology, no words, just a look that finally said she understood. This line wasn't moving for her or anybody. I went home, paid Diane, fixed up the chicken coop, bought a new irrigation system, and let the rest sit in savings. The HOA's apology came by email. 2 lines, no warmth, but that didn't matter. Now, every morning I walk out and run my hand over that steel gate. It's not just cold metal anymore, it's a promise. You can try to bend the world your way, but eventually you run up against something built to last. And the real question isn't what happens when you get your way, but what happens when you don't. So, let me ask you, where do you draw your line? What would you have done? Have you ever had to build your own boundary with words or steel or just plain stubbornness to protect what's yours? I'd love to hear your story, your take on what's fair, what's right, what's just stubborn pride. Drop it in the comments, because out here we all have to decide which boundaries are worth defending. And sometimes, the ones you build with your own 2 hands are the only ones that stand.